when you push liberals, Democrats, socialists, and communists into a corner, this is what they do. They come out with some crazier and crazier ideas. And this one takes the cake. Maybe a pie. Now, if you notice what's going on, we're probably 26 days out from the midterm elections. Democrats are posed to be trounced, just raffle stomped, curb stomped, if you will. Politically speaking, of course, for you feds out there that are looking at this. Probably not, but you get my point. This Virginia Democrat who sponsored this bill would criminally prosecute parents who don't affirm their kids as transgender. You heard that correct, folks. This scumbag liberal is saying you can't even have an opinion on how to raise your kids. It's, no, the state will determine how you raise your kids. You will get your marching orders from the state. You will get your marching orders from your local school district, your city council. Oh, your parents? No. They belong to the state. They don't belong to you. Oh, okay. That sounds communistic. Well, it's their frickin' modus operandi. Also, the previous attempt at the bill was co-sponsored by a senator who served jail time for having relations with a teenager. And yet, this scumbag just keeps getting voted in and in and in. Says teachers and social workers would report parents to Child Protective Services under the bill envisioned by State Delegate Elizabeth Guzman, Democrat. Fuckier? Something French. Guzman told WJLA that it could be a felony. It could be a misdemeanor. We don't know. Whatever we figure out. If you grovel to us, it'll be a misdemeanor. But if you're indignant or recalcitrant, it's going to be a felony. So, but we know that the CPS charge could harm your employment. Imagine that. Having an opinion on your child's well-being, you could lose your job if you don't suck the boots, lick the boots of your government masters in Virginia. It's interesting. Could harm their education because nowadays many people do a CPS database search before offering employment. That's a threat there, folks. That is a threat. This scumbag liberal is threatening your life and livelihood with the CPS, with the long, stiff arm of the government and their myrmidons and sycophants to use their enforcement apparatus, by the way, with guns, okay, to push you into saying, yeah, my child, we have to affirm my child's transgenderism. Oh, okay. Guzman, a social worker, went public with their plans to introduce the bill a week after the Daily Wire reported the National Association of School Psychologists official named Amy Canova boasted that she was working with an unnamed state delegate matching Guzman's description to craft such legislation. This is going to get good, folks. I want to see a kid in a home with food and shelter and insurance and support. Okay, who wouldn't? Here comes the but. But I also don't want to lose kids to death. Yeah, who does? I will not deny the fact that I have put parents in their place in my office or at school. Let me tell you something out there, folks. I got a kid that's in high school and he's about to graduate next year sometime. Maybe 2024. If a school official ever tried to put me in my place. You see, out there, for you feds, I'm not going to get violent. I'm just going to sue the shit out of you. That's what I'm going to do. You're going to get sued. Flat out. There's no reason to get violent. There's no reason to do anything. You start suing the school boards. You start making it hurt financially to them. That's what you do. And to suggest that you're going to call the CPS on me, that because the way I determine I want to raise my son or just your kids a certain way that you feel that is not breaking the law and any stretch of the imagination, you're going to have these scumbags come after you and hurt you financially, try to make you lose your job, throw you in jail, or even worse, having a team of fed glowy sons of bitches kick down your door and kill you and your dog because you have a different set of political ideology that these scumbags want to do to you? Wow. Canova is also affiliated with a group called the Pride Liberation Project. You see where this is going. That said, it would pick up trans and gay teens who didn't like their parents and work with other supportive adult organizations in the region to find you someone who can provide you a kind and affirming home. So let me get this straight. You got a kid that's obviously mentally addled. So that kid's going to go, well, I don't like my parents anymore, so I'm going to go to this organization so they could hurt my parents. Financially or physically or both. Wow, that's interesting. A similar bill was quietly introduced in 2020 by Guzman and 4 other Democrats immediately after they took control of the legislature in the 2019 elections. It redefined the term abused or neglected child to include one whose parent inflicts, threatens to create, or inflict or allows to be created or inflicted upon such child a physical or mental injury on the basis of the child's gender identity or sexual orientation. So the school can do all that. That's not illegal. But allegedly speaking, if you're a parent and you get accused of all this, then you get to lose your livelihood over a baseless accusation, apparently. The sole Senate sponsor of the 2020 bill was Joe Morrissey, who served prison time for contributing to the delinquency of a minor after sleeping with his teenage secretary. He accepted a plea deal, of course, and after initially being indicted on possession of child porn and other charges. I'm going to ask you something out there in Lazo Land. Why would you vote for this son of a gun? Never mind. I already know why. Because you're a liberal shit lib. That's what you are. And you don't care. These scumbags. One of the lower chamber's co-sponsors was Ibrahim Samra, whose political career rested on saying that Donald Trump was separating his family of immigrants when, in fact, his father was banned from the country after September 11th because he was a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. The 2020 bill died in committee and has no chance of passing because now the Republicans control the House of Delegates. Thank frickin' God. After the Delaware exposed Pride Liberation's project plans, Democrat operatives had a conniption saying that despite the clearly articulated plans of the private server of the PLP, the scenario of child being taken from their parents over transgendered issues was unlikely to come to fruition. Yet. But I guarantee goddamn to you out there, folks in Lazo Land, that they want to do it. They want to control your children. They want to remove the parents from their children so they can create good Bolsheviks, if you will. Good Leninites. Good Stalinites. Good commies. Good progressive. So they can further their stupid bullshit ideology. But if implemented, the bill could go further than anything the PLP could have envisioned. Child Protective Services has power to take abused children from their parents and placed him into foster care. And we all know how that's going to go. David Gordon, a conservative political consultant who ran the now defunct Virginia Project, told the Daily Wire, "This is the state being the abductor of children on the behalf of the transgender cult." Could not agree more. Virginia is a state where George Soros, backed prosecutor with reputation for leniency for violent criminals, personally tried to put a parent in jail for disorderly conduct after the parent was angry at the school board meeting because his daughter was been raped in a school bathroom by a boy wearing a skirt. That boy twice. The boy avoided being placed on the sex offender registry due to what his lawyer said was a failure by the prosecutor to file the correct paperwork. Yeah. Virginia Democrats are angry because Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin has introduced a model policy that says schools should not hide a student's gender transition from his or her parents. There you go, folks. When you keep voting lib shits in, this is what you get. This is a lib shit right here. You see out here, right here. That is a lib shit. That is a person with a bullshit, destructive political ideology bent on removing kids from their parents and promoting and pushing a transgender ideology. And if you dare question it, guess what happens? You get CPS and the feds knocking on your goddamn door trying to fucking hurt you. That's at the worst, and at the least, you lose your job. Come this November, folks, in about 26 days, do not vote for goddamn lip shits. They're fucking AIDS. They will fucking kill you. If they got the right amount of power, liberals and Democrats and the commies and their sycophants would fucking kill you. That's what they want. No less. And I would say no more. But don't live it to these lib shits. They'll figure out a way to kill you in the afterlife.